Welcome back, tribe. So they got a sex for rent listing here that says it targets young women. They're doing a news reporting on an uptick of women basically selling out their bodies, but you already know with the implicit direction that it's men that's causing this. So let's get into it real quick.
I saw that offered free rent.
We're undercover, meeting with a man who's posted an ad online. He's offering a warm bed in Hamilton, Ontario for a petite female.
When you say
in the same bed, right?
What you're about to hear next gets explicit.
We fool around a little bit here and there, right? Sort of. If you're not into actually having sex, that's cool. We can do other things, right? I don't mind helping you out if you're kind of helping me out too, right? You know what I mean?
We found over a dozen listings on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist seeking a sex for rent arrangement. Many target young women.
Target. Dude, it's a Craigslist posting. You're not a target unless you literally click on it and you want to come up by spreading your legs. I love the way they're pushing this narrative.
In college and university, international students as well. Would you call this a predatory practice?
Absolutely, it's a predatory practice.
Janine Benedette says soliciting sexual favors in exchange for free or discounted rent is not just unethical.
It's illegal. Anytime somebody obtains or tries to obtain a sexual service in exchange for something of value, they're violating the criminal code.
So then women should be filling up the prisons, no? This is the hypocrisy in all this. They're still blaming men for the fact that it's the government that's caused. This is supposed to be happening in Ireland too, by the way, when I was looking this up. They can't protect their own girls. Isn't it ironic that they talk about men being predatory when the government cannot keep the borders closed? They don't vet migrants coming in. All those Muslim grooming gangs. You got girls that are literally getting arrested for carrying a knife and a hatchet in her hands in order to protect herself in broad daylight from these bums that cannot keep their hands to themselves. Thousands, tens of thousands. The statistics are absolutely mind-boggling what's going on in Europe. This is the same government that's telling you we're going to crack down on sex for rent ads. Really? And then you went and arrested the girl because she brandished a knife and a hatchet in order to stave off some creep and save her and her friend. They were being harassed by somebody. And they didn't put the harassers in jail because, you're a bigot. You're not letting them culturally appropriate their penis inside of you. No. We're going to arrest the girl. She was like 14 years old. But they're going to waste time, divert your attention from the fact that they're letting all these people in. They're letting them have jobs when they're not supposed to work. They're housing them in giant hotels while selling out your country and your demographics because we're going to now do sex for rent enforcement. Yeah, we're going to not let that happen. So here's a little trinket in front of you. We're doing our job. See, ignore what you see. Ignore your eyes. Don't believe anything. This is wild, man. How disgusting.
She says police forces need to do more.
We know that the single biggest deterrent to this kind of behavior is enforcement. It's the threat of publicity and real consequences.
We reached out to the Canadian Association of Chiefs of Police. It says if Canadians report these sex for rent ads, they will investigate. And what does the man we met with on Hidden Camera have to say? We called him. My name is Asha Tomlinson. I'm a host with CBC Marketplace. Can you walk me through why you choose to offer housing in this way?
I like to help people out. But anyways, have a good day.
But we shared our findings with Facebook. Its parent company, Meta, says this...
Waste of time, bro. Canada, how many Indians have you imported in the last couple of years? How are you not responsible for the fact that you've imported millions of people to the point where you caused the housing shortage? Not just housing shortage, but the price of rent has gone up so high that you can do nothing but sell your body. And by the way, women have been selling their bodies for this, especially when times get hard. This is normal. You could fuck a German woman in World War II when the Germans started losing for a pack of cigarettes. Same with French women. Same with all the other women from all the other nations that were getting conquered for nothing, for a cake, for a pack of cigs. It's true. This is just what women do. When times get hard, they start to leverage sex to get things out of men. When times are good, they like to say boss babe mentality, don't need no man. And by the way, why aren't they enforcing, this should be double-sided. Cool, enforce it on the men, but why aren't we enforcing this on OnlyFans? Sugar babies. That should be illegal. They literally trade their bodies for trinkets and other things, but that's seen as empowering. You go, sis, you get you an old man, fondle his balls, and you get your rent paid, like is happening here. You get cars, right? You get your cell phone paid. You get a whole bunch of other stuff, bags, jewelry, vacations. That, not illegal, but when a guy posts something like, hey, we do a little extra here and there, and I'll give you this month's rent off, whatever it is. And then the women actually go on the Craigslist post, because there's women looking, and they will actually take the man up on his offer. How are you a victim? How is this a target? It's an ad. You choose to reply to it. You literally volunteer your information with the intent of engaging in said transaction. But again, I want you guys to notice that they're doing this despite, because if you search here for sex for rent right here, you will see alarming surge in women reporting sex for rent cases in Ireland. Delivering results. Labor senators' bill to ban sex for rent has passed second stage in Synod. International students being offered sex for rent arrangement. Irish Legal News. Labor.ie. So this is happening in Ireland. Look at this. It says, a number of young women have told Sky News of receiving shocking offers of accommodation in exchange for sex, with international students particularly affected. As the only English-speaking country in the EU, Ireland is a perennially popular destination for English language students, thought to currently number around 40,000. Anna, who'd worked as a journalist in Brazil, responded to an ad for a single bedroom in the city center. When I asked him for a price, he said it wouldn't be necessary to pay if I slept in his bedroom a few times a week. Do you see? Like, they're just reporting on this because some women will say no, but can you imagine how many women are okay with this arrangement? How easy it must be to be able to have something that everybody wants, that you could just open your legs and literally have the world offered to you. When you compare what the life of an average man is to an average woman, it's insane. She never spends money on food because she could go out on a date and a simple pay for it. She doesn't have to pay for rent because literally you can go and get an ad and you can sleep for free to save up money. Put yourself through school, because it's not just this. You can do extra and get school paid for, get a car paid for. All this shit gets paid for. It's no wonder when you look at the statistics. Have you seen those headlines that say, women now outnumber men as homeowners. Women are now are saving more than men are. Women are collecting more assets. Women are investing in more assets. Duh. This is one small sliver of what's actually going on in the economy at large, is that women hardly pay to exist, while the man bores the full brunt of the cost up front and on top of having to pay to date, right? Pay to have a girlfriend, pay to have a wife. So when you have an economy where both are in the labor pool, is never going to be even, because the woman gets to save all her money. The woman gets to get the house now in these fucked up prices that we have in this economy. This is what's happening. The life of an average woman, she has far more savings, far more earning potential, not just in the job because of DEI and, basically getting paid to get babysat, as we've seen in previous video. But the matter of the fact is, because of the way dating works, it gives them an edge, a massive edge that's never calculated in those statistics when they say men out earn women. Yeah, but most men's bank accounts are empty. Most women are actually starting to do well, if not better. Why do you think dating is so messed up? Why do you think so many men are seen as economically unviable because of hypergamy? Women don't want to date men that earn less than them. Do you find it shocking that a woman can tell you she has $40,000 in savings and the guy, his jaw drops on the floor? He's like, how the fuck? How do you have $40,000? How do you think, bro? While you're slaving away, trying to scrounge up 2 pennies, she's been saving buku amounts. You're taking her on a date, it costs money. She's been on 1 million of those dates before you got to her. Now that you cuffed her up, you're paying for everything. She's still working. She still has a job that earns just as much as you, if not more now. And all that money is saved. This is where the purchasing power difference comes. Ironically, AI is about to be unleashed fully, or only a few years. from the pipeline being complete. And a vast majority of women's jobs are going to just go poof overnight, disappear. Now, that'll change the dynamics back in men's favor, and it's interesting to see how society will roll out with these changes. Remains to be seen. But they shouldn't be surprised that this is happening, and they shouldn't frame it as men being predatory. How did the government squander away all the wealth built by the previous generation? Why are you letting so many migrants in that's causing a surge in pricing, not just for ownership of a home, but rent? We can't afford to rent a place. So you've made it so expensive to rent that you're causing women to literally have sex for rent to get paid. Then you've screwed up the labor market by inviting millions of migrants in that there's not even any jobs available. Again, forcing women to use their bodies to make ends meet. If anything, if you look at the root cause, the one that's to blame for all the problems is always the government. If we had a well-managed economy with a forward-thinking leader in the Western world in general, this wouldn't be a problem. Your daughter wouldn't have to sell her body to be able to afford rent in a place. We're not going to have that conversation. We're going to blow smoke up your ass, show you some mirrors, distract you with, look at how good of a job we're doing. We're going to crack down on Craigslist ads. Wow. 10 more thousands of migrants just got dropped off a boat who will inevitably rape some women there. Kill some potentially also. Hooray. We made a difference. You see, we're protecting women from Craigslist ads. This is the Western world today. Everything is upside down. Nothing makes sense until you understand the people at the top hate you. There is a global conspiracy to chop up the West and all her wealth and divvy it amongst a global, transnational elite. It's true. It really is. These people are stateless. They're borderless. They can travel. They have tons of wealth. They don't really care for countries. They use countries as playthings. It's just another business, like their actual businesses that they own. They're engineering society in their vision. And that's why they have bunkers in New Zealand or compounds in Hawaii somewhere in the thick of the jungle or mountaintops where you, the pleb, will not reach with their professional bodyguards and food for years to sustain themselves. There's money to be made here. By managing the decline of the West, you can then, when it's in life support, fully kill it and like a vulture swoop in and take pieces of the body for yourself and rebuild anew with vastly more wealth. It is a giant wealth transfer, as was COVID. But hey, we'll blame the men on Craigslist ads for what's going on in the West in general. Yeah, okay. When politicians start getting hanged for treason, I'll start having some hope in the system. Until then, boys, take care of yourselves. Literally, nobody's coming to save you. The world's getting harder and harder. Difficulties approaching legendary. Okay, we went on hard. We're approaching legendary. And, the top of the political elite are all criminals. They protect child pets. Quite literally, we have child pets in the government. All Western governments. And then on top of that, they're being blacklisted because they got them on tape diddling kids. What a perfect combination. We live in a great timeline, don't we? Anyways, we'll see you on the next one.